Yo, what's great with you guys today? We are in New Brunswick and we're at Veganize.
Represent.
Yes, sir. Don't eat the homies.
Do not.
Representing, man. Do not, man. Do
Shout
not.
out to Don't Eat the Homies.
Yes, but shout out to my guy Ben.
Oh, yo. Always a pleasure, bro.
Everybody follow Veganize on Instagram,
At Veganized Foods.
Facebook, YouTube if they have one.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well, soon YouTube. And I just want to really thank you for this last year and a half. I met you. It's been a pleasure of like meeting you guys, being able to come here and like learn about the lifestyle and like make it into my lifestyle. So
Thank you, man.
I want to say thank you again,
bro.
man,
You already
for making
know, man.
history this last year and a half.
Yeah,
you know?
it's been a pleasure to meet you guys. You guys are great, and just even to hang out with, but also to make good content with.
Yes, definitely, man. So I want to.
Numbers.
Yeah, numbers, definitely numbers. That's all we do, man. I would definitely want to tap into like your beginning journey of like you becoming vegan. So
Oh, man.
you're not from United States. Could you explain people
Well,
who you are, where you're from?
Briefly,
Yeah.
my mom is Moroccan. My dad is Persian.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Israel. I grew up in New York and South Florida.
Okay.
And then I spent the last, I would say, about 15 years in Tel Aviv.
Mm-hmm.
Did own a vegan restaurant in Tel Aviv with my twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then came to New Brunswick about a year and a half ago, like August 23.
Mm-hmm.
This is my older brother's spot. So I came to check him out, and he was expanding, needed a little help, offered me to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent the last year and a half working with him for the company. I did the first 6 months. I focused mostly on like deliveries, social media, cutting hours on front of the house, improving like communication, group chats, like shift reports, service flow, things like that. And then around New Year's last year, I got the green light to redo the whole bar program here. So I had to like measure the whole bar, plan out the whole bar, negotiate the deal, get like 20 feet of brand new stainless steel.
Yep.
And then also because we were building the Space Lounge Veganica at the Court Tavern, so I did the deal for both bars. So we ended up getting the bar installed right before New Year's. Ran that bar like till the summer, capped that off with a big bartending competition for St. George.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, we opened Veganica and Space Lounge. So I did the bar at Space Lounge 6 months after I did the bar at Veganize.
Yeah.
So 2 bars in 1 year.
Right.
And then that one also I planned out and, wrote the menu for and, trained the staff and everything.
Explain some of your.
And I did 6 months there. And then the last 3 months there, I started the live music program. So at first we didn't have any live music. And like we talked about the idea of having it, but it never happened.
Yeah.
So the way I got it in, I
Just started doing it.
well, I invited a jazz trio that I met to do a free like 45-minute show on a day we were closed, and then told my brother and like the landlord and shit to come check it out. I'm like, yo, come check something out real quick. And then they came in and they just saw live jazz. I'm like, oh, this shit is dope. I'm like, so we're good? They're like, yeah. And we started doing
Green
live music.
light.
So my last month here in December, before I finished out the year, I posted like the schedule for all of December. It was supposed to be posted December 1st, but we posted it December 2nd. That shit had 25 shows, 40 different artists, 6 different kinds of jazz, 5 different kinds of vocal shows, 4 different kinds of Latin music, 2 different poetry nights.
Right. And
It
that
was
was
like
cool
a
because
full
it was
schedule.
something happening every day almost, and it built like where it's at down. So
And I've never done booking live music before. So
I was
for
going
me,
to
that
ask
was
you like how was that like just jumping into it and then it becoming like a success.
I mean, I like music, so
Yeah.
I just started hanging out in more jazz bars. Like I would go to New York to like Smalls, amazing bar by the way. Smalls Mesro, definitely recommended.
Okay.
And then after the show, I'd see the musicians go outside to like smoke and be like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah,
good
connect
show.
with them. Yeah.
Like, oh hey, you guys looking to perform? I got a venue out in Jersey. You know what I mean? Like, let's go.
Right across the bridge.
Yeah,
Man. Come over.
There you go. Where there's a will, there's a way.
No, seriously.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah.
That's super dope though. So like, what type of music are you into, and what's your favorites?
I love all music. Really, like if you listen to my playlist, you would see it's very, very eclectic. I'll go from like Brazilian like funk to fucking like just old school like surfer rock to fucking tons of hip hop. I grew up on hip hop, so hip hop is the one I'm the most familiar with. Yeah, and it's the one I dabbled in personally. Like like I've recorded music and shot music videos.
Shout out to that verse that you just showed us.
Thank you. The video's coming out soon. It's with my boy Max Escobar Studios from Cali, Colombia. I actually met him, it's funny, at a vegan restaurant I used to work at Candle 79. Shout out to Candle 79. Word. It used to be like the #1 vegan restaurant in New York City around the time Pure Food and Wine was kicking. Okay. And we worked there together before he moved back to Colombia. So right. Yeah.
I want to ask you about you and L. Shout out to L.
Shout out to L, my twin brother.
Yes, sir. My, about starting
co-founder, co-owner, co-manager of 416. And the guy I mostly make hip hop music with.
Yeah, explain that. Like, how did you guys even get started to want to start 416? Is that something you guys already had in mind, or was it just an opportunity?
That has a few different answers of a few different starts. So we started in the restaurant industry because my dad was in the restaurant industry. Okay. And then we started being vegan through Ron, my older brother that owns Veganized, owner, designer, and chef of Veganized. So Ron's been vegan for over 30 years. When we were like 10, we were living in Staten Island or something. We went and spent like a week with Ron in Brooklyn. And we came back as a little 10-year-old and we're like, we're vegan now. And my parents were like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. You're right.
Yeah. We were not nearly independent enough to pull it off. They would literally lie to us or even bribe us, like just, like eat it, I'll give you $20 or some shit.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it just wasn't working.
Right.
And for some reason, we never picked it up again until we were like, I want to say 18, 19, probably like 19 or something. I don't remember. Maybe on the cusp. And we came to New York. We were spending some time with New York, a lot of time with Ron, and we just started having all these deep conversations. We're like at that age after high school where we're kind of like
figuring stuff out.
Yeah, like realizing we've been programmed and trying to like unlearn a lot of that programming and like find shit out for ourselves and like questioning everything and realizing the shit that occupied our mind doesn't really matter. Like, like which rapper said this and which like doesn't fucking matter. Like, right. Like what about water? What about food? What about the environment? What about the planet? Like things that actually fucking matter. Yeah, like, government corruption. Like, I used to think that everything I saw on TV was true. Like, if they said something on a commercial, like, that this is healthy, I'm like, oh, this is healthy.
Gotta be healthy.
Now, everything I see on commercial on TV, I know is not healthy. Just because it has a commercial on TV, without even seeing the commercial, I already know it's bad. So
all advertising.
Yeah, so that was, like, in that phase. So we were, like, searching for these things. And then they came up a lot during conversation with Ron, like, just talking about not even just veganism, just like the world, like technology, like things you take for granted, and then you start thinking about how it works, just nature, the planet, the size of it, and then, just all these things, and then, we just got to this point of like, like I want to do things or live my life in a way that I decided, not that I was taught by some like, programming or by like just following the herd, right? Like, especially when now that I can see what the herd is doing and it's fucking stupid. I'm not trying to go down that road, right? Like I'll stop and turn around. I'm not gonna just, please the status quo or whatever. So, so when we started thinking about everything, like why do we do this? Why do we do that? What effect does it have on me, on my environment, on everyone involved, right? And then I was like, yo, you eat like 3 times a day. You are what you eat. What the fuck am I eating? So essentially, like if you had a car and, your car is supposed to run on, let's say, regular gasoline, but you're putting diesel in it, it's not going to work out, right? So that's why I started understanding, like I was, taught by a system that's heavily funded by the dairy industry and the meat industry and lobbyists and big corporations and, like pharmaceutical companies which want you to be sick, and like food industries which are making you sick. Like a lot of people don't know, a lot of the big processed food companies in the U.S. were started by cigarette companies. When cigarette sales started declining, they sent the same scientists that were essentially making them find out how to get people addicted to cigarettes. They're like, all right, make them addicted to food. So, a food that we eat naturally is not addictive, because it's what we're supposed to eat naturally. But when they started studying human biology and using things that would be addictive to the human body, like hijacking the DNA of humans, and making a lot of accessible and super heavily marketed foods, especially geared to young children, and getting them addicted to this shit. And then, this is where we are now. So,
Right, yeah.
But like the number one cause of death in the whole world, more than all the natural disasters and car accidents and wars and disease and all that, is just our food. It's clogged arteries, it's heart disease, it's diabetes, it's it's all this shit.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely. And I feel I understand that for real, because like I had a certain point where like I always like a real conscious person, because like my grandpa, he was like super active and he ate super clean like his whole life. So like I was always conscious of like certain things to put in my body. But I think I probably was like 6 years ago. 6 years ago I forget, probably like 23 or something like that, or whatever the case may be. And I just started really thinking, I'm like, yo, like, all right, if I want to live a more effective life, like, what things could I just do that's just a little bit more effective, you know? So it was like working out, eating, and just living like a lot more positive, just being around a lot more positive things. And when I figure out the key of like the first thing I tried out was like juicing. But like this is a point in time where nobody was like even thinking about juicing. This probably had to be like 2017 or 18.
if you told them you were juicing, they think you're on roids.
Yeah, and like, yo, my whole body just changed. And they were like, yo, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, man. I just like literally changed my diet. A little bit of working out, but it was really just my diet. And I was like, all right.
I mean, they're all important, right? You got your mind, body, and your soul, right? So you got to feed your mind and your body and your soul positive things. So diet isn't just the food you eat; it's everything you consume. So, like you said, like also what you're surrounding yourself with. But at the end of the day, you are what you eat, right? So if you take like a microscope and put it over your arm, you'll see hair cells and skin cells just dying and falling off. But they're always being regenerated. The new ones are always growing. And you gotta think, what are they growing from? Whatever you eat, whatever you drink, whatever you breathe, whatever you absorb around you. You know what I mean? So, you are what you eat. And it's funny. People think they're actually like, I mean, not that it has to do too much with veganism, but people think they're like 70% water, right? And then and then 30% solid, which I guess technically is true, but it's not, because if you're technically made out of atoms, right? So if you look at an atom, most of the atom, like 90% of it, is just the empty space between the nucleus and the electrons spinning around it. Yep. So if anything, you're 90% empty space, and then like 7% water and 3% solid.
Right. Right. But that's another thing that you can say from what you were saying before. That's just something that somebody was told, and they just been running with it ever since, And
people are told that milk gives you healthy bones because it has a lot of calcium, and calcium is good for your bones. Well, milk does have a lot of calcium, and calcium is very good for your bones. But milk that comes from animals has animal protein, which makes your blood highly acidic, which could cause you to die.
Yes.
So your body has to find a way to neutralize that acidity immediately, and the only way it can do that is phosphorus. And the only source of phosphorus in your body is in your bones, and it's paired with calcium. So it's withdrawing calcium and phosphorus out of your bones. The phosphorus gets dissolved in the blood, balancing the acidity, and then you're just pissing the calcium out. So milk has calcium, but it causes calcium deficiency. So the countries that use calcium supplements or have osteoporosis or bone disease are the countries that consume a lot of dairy, as opposed to like, let's say Asian cultures where they have dairy there now, but it was never part of their culture or their cuisine growing up. Right. And they have much less issues, like 5,000% less issues. I mean, don't quote me on the statistic, but a lot less issues than European or American countries that have very dairy-heavy diets, but also just diabetes, obesity, like heart disease, all these things are much lower. end of the day, like, you got to think, what is dairy? Dairy is milk. Milk is food that a mother makes for her baby.
Yes.
No other animal consumes milk after infancy, and no other animal consumes milk from a different species. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might as well be drinking dog milk, or you know, like you're not a cow. You don't have four stomachs. You know?
Right.
There's nothing bovine about you. You know?
Right.
Move that shit out of
you. No, seriously though, because like people really like that's what they've been telling people. Like, yo, you drink milk, you get strong, but low key, like you drink milk, it really deteriorates your bones. Like, it make you really
no.
brittle.
And then the worst part, the audacity that they'll be like, oh, soy milk has estrogen, it has hormones. I'm like, wait, so all the beans, I'm supposed to believe that all the beans are healthy. But the one bean that they magically started making all the milk supplements, milk substitutes and chicken substitutes and fish substitutes, pretty much a one bean that has a full protein that Chinese and Japanese people have been eating for thousands of years, and this one bean that replaces all these products is the one bean that's not healthy. Yeah, that doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, so wait, soy has a lot of hormones, but a pregnant cow's milk for their baby doesn't have hormones. Like, soy is the reason 9-year-old boys have titties, not dairy products.
But yeah, right.
All right, well, whatever you say, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I want to really ask you, because like I know you've been in vegan way longer than me. What's some of the wildest misconceptions you heard about the lifestyle?
Oh, I've heard it all, but I feel like the ones that fight the hardest about it are really just fighting their own psyche because they know it's true. Mm-hmm. So they have to say anything to make them feel like they're doing the right thing.
Right.
So they're trying to convince you, but they're really trying to convince themselves. And that's how I know they know I'm right. Like, the harder they fight me on it, I'm like, bro, you're a vegan waiting to happen. Like, you're like one veggie burger away from being vegan.
No, seriously.
Like, come to Veganize, you might change your mind.
No, seriously, man. Anybody that want to come to start to change their mindset, come to Veganize.
But yeah, no, people just think you can't be healthy, or you can't grow, or you can't be strong. It's funny because my whole life, my parents told me, eat your vegetables. You got to make sure to eat your vegetables. And then one day I was like, hey, Mom, Dad, like, I'm vegan. I only eat vegetables now. They're like, oh my God, you're going to die. I'm like, the fuck? The whole time you told me this shit was healthy. What are you talking about? Right. Also, it's not healthy anymore? Like, what?
Nah, seriously.
You know, like, what the fuck?
That's super fast.
You got to think of, like, down to the core, right? So, like, okay, yes, your body needs nutrition, right?
Yep.
Where is the nutrition coming from? Meat is not nutrition. Meat is not a vitamin. It's not a mineral. It's not, right?
Right.
Protein, yes. Iron, yes. You know, B12, all that shit, yes, you need that. But is the source of that meat? No. The only source of vitamins and minerals is the earth. Mm-hmm. Plants grow out of the earth from water, air, and sunlight, right? Photosynthesis. We all learned this in school.
Right.
They take air and sunlight and, you know, suck up nutrients through the roots, through the earth, and you know what I mean? Air, water, through water, I guess, from rain and from the soil. Right. And those are the 4 elements: earth, wind, fire, water. Like, that's the reason you have life on earth. No, nothing else. So
listen up.
Why not go straight to the source? Even if you're talking business, if you owned a store and you sell cell phones, and you're at a great week, you're out of cell phones, you sold out, you got to re-up. You got to get more cell phones, right? Are you going to call back that same guy you just sold to buy it from? Are you going to go to the store next door to buy it from? No, you're going to try to buy the shit from the factory, right? You're going to cut out the middleman. You're going to go straight to the source. Mm-hmm. So with your nutrition, you should do the same. You should go straight to the source. You should eat the plant. So there are meat-eating animals in nature, guaranteed, no doubt about it. But there are a very small percentage of the animals in the planet. Most animals are not meat-eating animals. But even the meat-eating animals, they don't eat meat-eating animals because nutrition does not come from meat. So you don't see lions eating tigers, eating hyenas, eating foxes, eating wolves. You'll see a lion eating a zebra that ate fucking grass because the nutrition came from the grass, from air, water, sunlight, and
grass
from the ground, from
zebras.
the earth. Even B12 is all from the soil. It doesn't come from anything else. They add it as an additive to meat, just like they added to the soy milk or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back in the day, you didn't need to add it because you would wash the fruits and vegetables. They'd still have B12 on them. Now they wash it with chemicals, and it's all fucking GMO and engineered and pesticides, so you're not getting it. But you know, in a perfect natural world, you would.
Right.
But at the end of the day, go to the source, right? And obviously, if you can do local, seasonal, organic, non-GMO, that's even better. But you know, eat the actual plants and not the animals that ate the plants. You know what I mean? And you're gonna get a lot more of the good stuff with a lot less of the bad stuff. Because and you could see it in your like design of your body. For one, the only thing that promotes digestion is nutritional fiber. Nutritional fiber exists only in plant-based foods. You don't have it, not in meat, not in chicken, not in dairy, not in eggs. None of it has nutritional fiber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, so obviously, if that's promoting digestion, that means, yo, some people, bro, they shit like once a week, bro.
Yo,
shit's crazy.
No, it's some
It's
people
just crazy.
that
They don't have no fiber in their diet, bro.
yes,
They're
it's some
like,
people that really don't. I don't want to say shit at all, but it seems like they don't shit at all.
yeah,
Like-
because there's nothing real in their food for them to shit out, bro. It's crazy. When I first went vegan, that was the main thing I noticed was my digestion.
Yeah.
Bro, I couldn't believe I lived like that, and I thought that shit was natural, bro.
Right.
Bro, you know, like, bro, I can go 3-4 times a day now, like easy, and I don't. It's nothing. You know what I mean? But
Literally, like not
wild,
right after
bro.
you eat, but like after you eat, you just.
But more than that, I'll give you the best test you can ever do, right? So I believe it. I'm vegan, right? Like humans are supposed to be vegan. So I walk in the woods, I see a tree, I see a red apple just catching my attention, calling me. It's the same height I can reach and grab with my arm. I pick it. I don't need a kitchen. I don't need fire. I don't need a knife. I don't need anything. I eat it as it is, whole with a fucking peel and everything. It's fucking delicious. It's sweet. It's tasty. It'll never clog my arteries. It'll give me energy right now, like carbs. Like you're like a plant. You turn energy to sugar. It'll give me the carbs I need to get through the day. And guess what? When I'm done, the only part I don't eat is the seed. I throw the seed on the ground.
more
A
apples
fucking
gonna come.
tree grows out of it. I give it oxygen or carbon dioxide. It gives me oxygen. It gives me shade. It gives me more fruit. That makes sense. That's my food.
Yes.
Animals, you might want to pet, you might want to play with, you might want to run away from. You're not going to try to eat them, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, like, why would my food have legs? You know, like, why would I feel bad for it? But also, like, try eating an animal the way a carnivorous animal eats, right? If you've seen a lion eating, like, an animal, it doesn't fillet it and cook it and eat it with a
raw.
fork and knife. Bro, but these animals walk on all fours. They eat it with their face, bro. Right. If I locked you in this room with a whole live cow and tied your hands behind your back and just locked you in this cow and you had to eat this cow with your face, you think you could eat a cow with your face? Just eat the fucking cow? No, you can't. You cannot. It's not your food. You know?
Right.
If it was your food, you'd be able to do that.
Eat that, yes.
And if you ate strictly that every day, 3 times a day, you would be in peak condition. If that was your food. Right. If you eat strictly raw meat all day, every day with nothing else, because lions don't get a side of broccoli or a house salad or
some
mashed potatoes. No, just raw flesh all day, bro. You would get tired, sick, and then die. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So that's not your food.
Seriously.
It's not your food.
That's definitely facts. I'm glad you explained it like that because like a lot of people think that like that's like the ultimate way, like that's the only way. Some people think like I'm like malnourished and stuff like that.
No,
I'm
people
like,
tell me when I tell them I'm vegan, oh, you don't look vegan. I'm like, what does a vegan look like? Bro? You know what I mean? Like what?
It's like we're supposed to have like something growing out my head or something like leaves.
No, you think you're supposed to look like really malnourished and like super hipstery and like
very skinny.
You know,
like,
yeah.
It's like, yo, we get our nutrients. We get more nutrients than
Bro,
you
the
guys.
biggest, strongest animals in nature are plant-based. Like
Yes.
a gorilla, which has like a 99% DNA match with you, reaches like 500 pounds of just almost pure muscle, can rip a human being in half with their hands, eat
Bananas.
fucking leaves, fruits, and nuts. Leaves,
Right.
fruits, and nuts. You could be at peak diet off leaves, fruits, and nuts. You know what I mean? Rhinos. Where does elephant get their protein? No one's worried about an elephant's protein intake. You know what I mean? They don't fucking eat meat, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
bro.
like what?
Right. And it's so funny because like the way that like things been like preached to us, they told us like, yo, this is like the only way, and if you don't do it this way, you're literally going to die. And it's like the way that they're telling us, if we keep doing it that way, we're going to die.
Yeah, I mean, look at the food pyramid. Look at what they give you to eat in school. Like, they literally consider pizza a vegetable. for school programs for the cafeteria.
Right.
Because it has tomato sauce. Like what?
No, definitely not. That's
You know what I mean?
I work for like a church, and like part of like what they have going on is the school attached to it.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing the school lunches that get like delivered to them. Yo, it's
Bro,
awful.
I go to the gym 2 blocks from here at RWJ.
Yeah.
RWJ is a hospital.
Right.
There is a McDonald's in the building.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like it's a hospital. They have a McDonald's. That's the reason people are there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, they're in cahoots. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
seriously.
like I'll provide the sick, you provide the care. No one really heals them. You know, just
and you
make a
gotta
bunch of
think about
money,
it.
bro.
They might as well just go get the McDonald's and go right upstairs.
Yeah. Well, it's all about easy, right? Quick, right?
Yeah, seriously,
You know what I mean?
and that's why like I know like a lot of people that I'm like that I went to school with are probably a little bit older than me. Like I see a lot of them in the hospital for like a lot of problems, and it's like yo, like
Yeah.
if you guys were kind of just like
Let thy food be thy medicine, bro.
like think outside the box a little bit, you know, and like realize that like what you've been doing is literally got you to this point.
Yeah.
Yo, and you need to stop. Like
But people like they want change, but they don't want to change what they're doing.
right.
So you can't expect change doing the same shit. Like you want
Yeah.
change, like you want different results. You got to do different things. You know what I mean?
Right. Somebody was like, I was just talking to somebody. They was like, yeah, man, I started juicing, and you know, it's going real well. And I was like, word. I was like, okay, I'm like, yo, that's great. I'm glad to hear you juicing. I said, the golden question is, I said, where did you get your fruit from? They were like, Target. I said, what?
I didn't even know Target sells fruit.
Yo, I said, are you serious or not? It was like, yeah, man, the fruit tasted good. I said, the one
I was
recommendation.
like getting a salad at McDonald's, bro.
Bruh, I said the one recommendation I got for you, don't go there. I said go to an actual grocery store
Or a farmer's market.
or a farmer's market. We have phones. Like we can look up to see like what episode of Baddies is coming on and all this stuff. Yo,
You can't check where you're getting your food from.
Yo, you can't ask ChatGPT a quick question real quick. Like it'll give you a precise
Ask
answer.
ChatGPT what your diet's supposed to be. I wonder what it'll say.
And I bet you it won't tell you to eat no type of meat.
Unless it's compromised already. Unless they got to it already.
Bruh, like, and it's just super funny, man, because like a lot of people lifestyles are like they're like intrigued by our lifestyles,
Yeah.
but they think it's fake. They'll be like, hey, like that, it looks cool. Like I know you probably do eat good, like the place look good, but I still wouldn't go there because the food wouldn't make me full.
Right.
I said, yeah, I know, because your whole life you never ate nutritional food.
First of all, it's not even that they're not full. The feeling they're describing that they call full is just really being crammed with food they can't digest.
Yes.
They've just grown so accustomed to that feeling from what they eat that they confuse that feeling with full. Your stomach is literally the size of your fist. Like an
Yes.
apple is a full meal. But for like every 2 hours. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to eat 3 big heavy meals. You're not supposed to have your metabolism spike up and down like that.
Right.
Honestly, you don't really need to eat as much as people think you do either. We're just, really creating consumerism here in the U.S. So you're supposed to just buy shit all the time, whether it's food, whether it's
Overindulge all the
clothes,
time.
whether it's technology, whatever. It's just like always buy. But
Right.
yeah, I mean,
It tripped somebody out. I told them, they was like, so they would kind of just ask me like, so what's kind of like your regimen? What do you do? Da 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 da. I was telling them like I eat one real meal a day, like one nutritional meal, and then everything else is kind of just like fruit, this and this.
Yeah, there you go.
And it was like, are you serious? Like you survive off of that? I said, you're here talking to me, right?
not just survive, thrive, bro. Thrive.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, my life is great right now. Like I don't have to eat 3
Well,
meals.
digestion takes a lot of energy from your body, and
People aren't just working
unless
out
your
all
food is
day.
really nutrient rich, it might not even be worth it. You know what I mean? Like,
No, seriously, right. Yo,
like for a lot of people, it's just an emotional thing, or
yeah, people eat emotionally. That's how people buy.
yeah, to deal with stress, to distract themselves from things, to whatever.
People,
Or just because, like we said, a lot of these foods are addictive. They're highly addictive. Dairy is addictive because nature is very smart, so they want babies to, consume their mother's milk and to remain calm while they're breastfeeding. So there is casomorphine. It's a kind of natural form of morphine that appears in dairy, which calms the baby down while they're breastfeeding, but also makes sure the baby gets sort of addicted to the breast milk. That way it won't turn it down or not consume it.
Yeah.
So it's just like a fail-safe nature created because nature is perfect. But now that you have all these people consuming it, so let's say you drink coffee. Most people drink their coffee with milk and sugar. Right. Sugar is addictive, milk is addictive, and caffeine is addictive. You know what I mean? So,
yo, you just got a power blast of everything. Like,
but people are like engineering your food the same way they engineer cigarettes to make it addictive because they're making money off this shit. Like I have a 5-year-old daughter. I've seen the way she reacts to candy. It's like a fucking crack fiend. You know what I mean? Like,
yo, no, seriously. I have a little cousin.
He's like highly addictive. He's like especially
2 years.
For children.
Yes, he's like 2-3 years old. I think he had like, what was it? It was like donuts. It was like munchkins. I gave it to him one time because like at this place I pick up from, they always give fresh donuts and stuff like that, and I just take them back to my job. So I was like, I'll give my little cousin some. All right. I didn't have him for a while, and then he noticed the box. Yeah. He was like, munchkins! Yeah. And I'm like, yo.
That's not healthy, bro.
Yeah, like, I'm like, yo, this is like crack.
All right, Bookie.
Yeah.
All right, Bookie.
Yeah. I was like, yo, what the heck?
You got the munchkins, bro?
Yeah, like, he like, yo, munchkins. And I'm like, he's 2 or 3 years old. Yeah. He should not know what this is. My bad for giving it to him.
No, whatever. But bro,
it's like,
you can't hide it from them. It's everywhere. They see it on TV. They see it at their friend's house. Their grandparents give it to them. They give it to them in school and daycare. You know, like you can't.
You can't.
It.
Yeah.
You see it on like all the movies, all the like
commercials.
Always show the kids wanting candy. Like they program their minds into it. You know what I mean?
It's all a manipulation thing, and it's like I wish
they get young children with like high sensory overload flavors, like like very powerful flavors in their food, or even through TV, just like lots of colors, lots of shit. They're just like drawn to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They just program them, bro.
Yeah.
You see how McDonald's probably have they used to have Happy Meals, toys in the box, playground, making it so easy for the parents to want to take them there. Drive through, you don't even have to get out of the car, like,
right.
Like just targeting, like feeding these kids, but giving them shit,
right? And that's what I'll be trying to explain to a lot of people too. Like a lot of this stuff that we have is made by design because a lot of people just wanted a lot more money. Yeah. Because like beforehand, like
they don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, like, and a lot of older people that I talk to, like their understanding of like how life is right now is kind of like. They don't get it because, like, when they were growing up, like, their meat, they never had to worry about their meat having, like, all this stuff, and they were getting it from the butcher and stuff like that.
Back in the day, it wasn't the same scale. So the thing that really changed it up, at least here in the U.S., and, I guess after that, the rest of the world, but is two things, antibiotics and pesticides. Okay. So when they developed pesticides, they could grow a lot more food and just spray it and not have to worry about it, right? So they're growing shittier food, but they're growing more of it. And then with antibiotics, they can grow the animals in much worse conditions, and even if they get sick, they just give them antibiotics, so who cares, right? So that's when they scaled it up, and then it's essentially subsidized, right? So they make so much of it, now they have to put it in everything. So now you're eating it 3 times a day. Now you can't even find a salad without animal products. It's got either tuna or chicken or eggs or cheese or something, you know what I mean? Because they have so much of it now.
Right.
But at the end of the day, this is another thing that even in vegan circles and plant-based circles and all these things, I hardly hear. But and especially after things like COVID, I think it's like super relevant. But
guys, listen up.
Antibiotics, right? If you ever had an infection and you went to the doctor and the doctor tells you you need antibiotics, they usually tell you got to finish the whole pack of antibiotics. Even if you feel like you got better, finish the whole pack because, and they'll tell you this, if you don't kill the virus will come back stronger and mutated from the antibiotics. So it's either going to take it all the way and kill it, or it's just going to almost kill it and then bring it back stronger, kind of like Saiyans, you know what I mean? Right? So essentially, like, shit like COVID is essentially just the flu gone Super Saiyan, because you have people that for tens of in 20, 30 years, probably more, 40, 50 years, have just been eating small amounts of antibiotics in their diet, in their food, in their meat, in their dairy. There's antibiotics in it. So regardless of if they had an infection or got it from the doctor or not, they've been consuming small amounts on a global scale, like the human population, just for like 50 years at least, consuming like small amounts of antibiotics, and now all these common diseases that usually would have passed with the generations, like back in the day, are not passing. They're just coming back stronger every time.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's just not going to work anymore, bro.
Right.
And then you'll really have a pandemic. Well, lose like half the fucking population.
A real pandemic,
Not that fake PR pandemic we had.
Right, It was crazy. So, like, this is kind of like off topic, but it has something to do about what you were saying about how, like, things are, like, basically, like, curated and made. So,
everything.
Shout out to John at my job. So, he was basically telling me,
what up, John?
Right. He's basically telling me, he was like, so methanol, right? He's like, that's like it's a gas that we use in basically almost everything, right? It's smellless and all that stuff. He was like, they add sulfur in it or something like that. They add like all these they basically add all these things in it. So basically it's like a fucking a reaction that happens that basically comes out into the world and gives like the gases that make people like sick and all this stuff like that. And he was starting to explain about the salt that's outside on the road. He was like, that's how that works. He was like, so that's why like during this time, he was like, people continuously getting sick. Because he was like, we're not supposed to put salt out to basically melt the snow. The sun is supposed to just do its thing, blah, 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 blah. He said when that happened, it's basically another, like, fumes that come off of the salt. When it burns, the chemicals and stuff like that. And that stuff makes people sick.
I mean...
and I was like, yo...
I say question everything all the time. Like even, I mean, this is such a tragedy, and my heart goes out to everyone in LA dealing with this shit. But like,
wow,
you know, crazy fires. There goes like pretty much all the Palisades. Like literally, I think the size of New York City was burned down.
Yep.
And then a few days before that, they canceled all their fire insurance. And they say homeless people started the fire. Who paid these homeless people to start the fire? Like, essentially, they just bought up all the Palisades. Like, you know, they just own the Palisades. Like, let me cancel all your fire insurance, right? Cancel all your fire insurance. Pay a bunch of homeless people to burn down this whole fucking thing. Bribe maybe some higher ups in the fire department to maybe not react too quickly. And then all of a sudden, we're like, oh, okay, well, you don't have fire insurance, but I feel bad. I'll buy this property off you for like $100K. And then you just bought the Palisades for like 10% of its worth.
Right. Yeah. No, seriously, seriously.
No, I'm supposed to believe they just magically canceled all their fire insurance before one of the biggest fires. Like,
yes.
I don't know.
People don't realize it's a lot of that type of stuff happening right now.
Just always ask questions. You know?
Even with the plane that just
5 planes. What do you mean the plane? 5 planes.
Yeah, right.
Bro.
But they was basically saying like it was an order that was put out that like a bunch of the I forget like something with the not manufacturing but something with all the companies they got fired. So it was like boom, after you just fired all these people that have to do with all these planes, boom, planes are just falling out of the sky, catching fire. It's like, yo, like how is...
They're just normalizing something new. They're just building up to the next thing. You know what I mean, bro? It's all programming, bro.
Right.
Always just ask questions, you know? People are quick to say conspiracy, whatever, bro. The literal definition for conspiracy is two or more people that are secretly plotting something that is either illegal or harms someone.
Are you serious?
That happens all the time. There's whole businesses that thrive off of it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know that was like the actual definition.
2 or more people secretly planning to do something that's either illegal or is going to harm, you know,
a bunch of people. Yeah.
That's the literal definition. So
wow.
Conspiracies are happening all the time.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never knew that by definition. That's actually good to know.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we're a little off topic, but if we're getting back, I guess, to the topic of veganism and whatnot, at the end of the day, like, yeah, for me, it was, I guess, realizing that just like, yes, I feel like biologically, anatomically, it is my food, like for reasons we already explained.
Yep.
But also, I don't want to be financing or creating a demand for factory farming and animal suffering. That's not what I'm trying to do. Don't make this shit for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not paying for it. I'm not funding it.
Right.
I don't want to be involved in it. And then on top of that, also for the rest of the planet, because like people are like, oh, the Earth is overpopulated, blah blah blah. Nah, we got like 8 billion people, 9,
Right.
probably less. I don't know, but that's not the problem. The problem is that 99% of us eat animal-based products. So then that's the not sustainable part. You know what I mean? You're talking about hundreds of billions of animals per year. That's more than exist.
Right.
It's more than exist. So we're producing them at this point just to consume them. So like most animals today get slaughtered probably like under 6 months old.
Yeah.
But they just fatten them up with growth hormones and steroids and shit like that. You know what I mean?
A lot of steroids.
And now they're just, yeah, it's so bad.
Just like
it's so
big.
bad. It's so bad. You know, like, and then people think like cows give milk all year round. No, they're just like any other animal. They only give milk when they're pregnant.
Pregnant, yeah.
The difference is they take bulls and hook them up to machines and suck their semen out of them.
So they
and
can
then use either a metal rod or a rubber glove up to their shoulder and inseminate or rape cows with bull semen,
yeah.
and get them pregnant, and then
Right.
take their baby away from them like 3 hours later or something, and then keep it close enough that they can hear it crying, so they keep producing the milk. So they don't think it died,
Yep.
and then give humans that milk to get them sick, and then give the babies a milk substitute made from their parents' blood. Lovely.
Lovely. It's great. It's amazing. It's like, yo, like.
So I don't pay for that shit.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, like you have like your coffee with oat milk? Ew. I'm like, ew? Have you ever seen a milk pump? Because people don't milk by hands anymore.
Right.
I've seen
It's a
pictures
pump.
of the filter
Yeah.
of the milk pump.
Bro, it's
There's
like
so
bloody.
much blood and pus in that shit. The legal somatic cell count is what they call it. Somatic cell count is the amount of pus you can have in a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Is a whole eyedropper in, I think, an 8-ounce glass of milk. That's the legal limit. I guarantee they're passing it.
Yeah.
But that's allowed. Now, yeah, it's pasteurized, but that's just boiling it. They're not taking it out. You know?
Yeah.
And then people are like, ew, you make tofu omelet or tofu scramble? I'm like, no, because embryos are better. Like,
Right.
like, you know, like the chicken has a menstrual cycle. If it's fertilized, it's essentially a baby growing in there, and if it's not, it's just a menstrual cycle.
Right.
So whipping that up in your pan for breakfast is better than me making like, tofu scramble. Like what?
Yo, and
My shit's disgusting.
Yo,
like, what?
you have to explain it to people like that because people really,
Yeah.
honestly and truly, don't get it.
Bro,
Like,
I just brought you a burger from Petramala. Shout out to Petramala.
Yeah, shout
in
out to
Philly,
them.
Chefy and great. Best burger I ever had in my life. It's made from red sea pea or whatever, and mushrooms. Bro, delicious. People are like, ew, vegan burger. Like, have you seen what the average burger is made of? Like, even from McDonald's? It's pink slime. Have you seen pink slime before?
yes,
Bro,
yeah. Yep.
if you didn't Google pink slime and then talk to me, bro, this shit is disgusting. Disgusting.
I swear. And even just like when you go to the grocery store, right? And you go inside of like the frozen aisles and all these different aisles and you see stuff.
Oh, the morgue.
Literally, like you're walking through the morgue.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
like
just-
a refrigerator with a bunch of corpses in it. Yeah, it's fucking lovely. There's a reason people take their kids apple picking and not to the slaughterhouse. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
yeah.
People just need to gain better habits. This lifestyle is not bad. We are still living. He's been doing it for how many years?
Fuck, man.
20 plus?
I'm 37 now, and I started when I was about 18, 19, so over half my life, probably like 19 years.
And I've been doing it for a year and a half.
And Ron over 30 years, bro.
We're all okay. Like, we're fine. Like, it's somebody here that's been vegan their whole life. They never, ever had anything.
Yeah,
They're fine. Nobody's like...
fine as fuck.
Everybody's life is going and is working. It's great.
Yeah, you know, obviously you got to figure this shit out for yourself. You know, some people, I did it overnight. Some people do it over weeks, over months, over years.
Right.
You know, and even if you don't go all the way, you know, at least educate yourself, know what you're doing, know what you're supporting, know what you're paying for, know what you're putting in your body, know who these people that are selling this to you are, what their interests are. You know, do your own research, try it. You don't have to tell anyone. You don't have to change your political or musical or preferences or the way you dress or your name or your sexual identity. Just try it. Like most people knock it without even trying it. I've tried both, like half my life vegan, half my life not vegan.
Right.
People won't even try this shit for 2 weeks and they want to shit on it without even trying it. Like, try it first. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Right, right. Actually, give it a try for real. So
And you don't have to tell
understand
anyone.
it.
You don't have to publicize it. You don't have to sign a contract.
Just try it.
Just try it for your own, research, for your own curiosity, for whatever.
Right.
You have your whole life ahead of you. You can always go back.
No, seriously, yeah.
The question is, will you want?
And I promise you, if you go vegan, you probably wouldn't want to go back. Yeah. I want to ask you a few questions about just curating the menu for how you want the people to enjoy the food. Or what are some of your favorite things?
Oh man, so I am a chef and a foodie, equal parts. So I love to cook, but I also love to eat.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess when I started cooking, I kind of developed a cooking personality, if you will. Kind of like where you might expect certain things from my food, certain qualities, certain characteristics.
Right.
And then over time, I realized that when I go out to eat as a foodie, I like all the different styles. I don't limit myself to one style of cooking or one style of food. So I wanted to apply that to myself as a chef as well. I didn't want to just cook in one style and make one kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like to switch it up a lot. Like the same way I like to switch up what I eat, that's the way I like to switch up what I cook. But I guess my go-tos would be either, let's say I'm trying to recreate something that's already established, something that came before me, something that's very well known, loved, and respected, something that I might have grown up on or liked, or something that a friend of mine or whoever I'm cooking for maybe wants, like a pizza or pasta or burger or ramen or sushi or whatever, like something known, right? And then I'll just try to recreate that as faithfully and to the best of my ability as I can, but put my own twist on it, make it my way, right?
Right.
And I really enjoy doing that. And I always try to do something different every time. Another thing I like to do is to cook something that has no previous iteration. You can't call it anything. It's completely original. It is what it is. It's never been done before. And it's not comparative to unknown food. Right. And then that I'm very, I guess, blessed in the sense that I'm very creative in that way. That's probably the best thing I have going for me as a chef, is not necessarily knowledge or experience, which I do have, but I feel like I have more passion and creativity.
Right.
So for me, you can give me random ingredients, whatever you have in your fridge or whatever you decided to buy, and I'll just completely improvise a whole meal out of it, but I'll try to also use those ingredients in a way that you would not expect. Right. So if you see cauliflower, you might imagine it being either roasted or battered and fried, or buffalo cauliflower, and maybe even pickled. I'll make a cream out of it. You know what I mean? Like I'll try to do something that you might not expect or might have not had, but try to balance those things. So I usually my guiding principle is I try to get 3 main flavors that'll complement each other, 3 main textures that'll complement each other, and 3 main colors that'll complement each other. So if I made something from beets, the beets are sweet and they're purple, and let's say I made them into a cream. If everything's purple and everything's sweet and everything has a creamy texture, it's gonna be boring. It's gonna be like a beet soup, whatever. You wanna break it up. So if you have something white next to that purple, all of a sudden it's gonna pop. Maybe something black, boom, white, black, purple, now it's gonna pop. Right. And if you have, the white can be like a crema or like a creme fraiche or something, and then it's a little tart. Okay. So it's balancing that sweetness you're getting from the beet.
Get both.
The black can be something maybe smoky or charred or something, and let's say maybe a different texture, something with more bite or more crunch, and then you're getting different textures, different flavors, different colors. That's gonna be a lot more interesting. And then I also try to understand what the product I'm working with is, and what are its strengths and weaknesses, and how can I increase them or play to their strengths, right? So a beet is a root vegetables. Like we said earlier, we turn food into sugar. So do plants, photosynthesis. They get the water, the air, the sunlight. They store the sugars in their root, in their onions. That's why you can caramelize an onion, because it has a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
People don't realize onions have probably more sugar than fucking apples. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if most people, when they make beets, they'll peel the beet, they'll cut the beet, they'll throw it in a pot of water, and they'll boil it. Now, when you take the beets out, look at the water. The water looks, smells, and tastes like beets. It's purple. It's got a beet flavor and a beet smell.
Right.
All that color, flavor, and smell used to be in the beet. Now it's in the water. Guess what's in the beet instead of that now? Water.
Water.
You just watered down your beet. It's like osmosis. You're taking from here and putting something else in.
Right.
So I don't want to water down my fucking beet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I'm like, okay, if it's got sugars, I want to play on that. I want to caramelize those sugars, right?
Okay.
So I leave the beet whole, uncut, unpeeled. Maybe throw it on a bed of like some salt the salt will absorb some moisture, so I'll get like a nice dry like salt roast. And I'll just put it on high heat. Low heat, you're just gonna steam it. You want high heat so you can caramelize the sugars, burn those sugars. You will see at some point literally like black tar kind of bubbling on the skin of the beet and dripping down on it. That's burnt sugar.
Okay.
So when you take the beet out like 2-3 hours later and then, let it cool, you'll see that like the peels are like almost like crackers, like they'll just break off, and then the beet itself kind of shrunk. And like there's just like air in between the beet and the peel. And then the beet itself is a lot darker. The texture is like a lot meatier, and the flavors are a lot richer. It's like caramelized sugar flavor. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So now your beet is like
To the max.
way better, right? Because you're using, because I don't give a fuck if you're Jean-Georges, Alain Ducasse, Joel Robuchon, like the best chef in the world, Mother Nature, hands down. You cannot make anything better than avocado or cilantro or beet or cucumber or, whatever. You just can't. Like, those are the best flavors, best textures. Mother Nature is the best chef. So I try to play off that. Like, okay, let me just use good ingredients, understand what these ingredients are, understand which cooking technique is going to help me maximize them, and then just pair them with things that'll complement them, right? So if I'm doing something sweet, I want something tart or bitter or earthy or salty or spicy or whatever to complement that.
Right.
And like I said, 3 colors, 3 textures, 3 flavors. That's the guideline.
You guys heard it best here, man.
Yeah.
The God with the plan, man. Anytime I ever need to like get a different understanding or like try something new with a different flavor to get like a different feel, I come here to Veganize and they always get it done. I never have a problem coming here.
Yeah, the food here is excellent. I highly, highly recommend it.
Not excellent. It's phenomenal. I don't even know what's a word greater than great.
Well, and it just helps that everything here is also not only plant-based, but also 95% certified organic.
Yep.
All scratch-made, like everything. The only thing they don't make here is the ketchup. They make their own hot sauce, their own bread, their own burgers, their own cheese. The place has been wind-powered for 9 years. Fair trade when possible. Yeah, fair pay. Like it really like does it for real. It doesn't fake it.
Right. It gives you the
high
whole
quality product.
Yeah, the whole
and no
ambiance.
shortcuts either. Like, we have smoked mushrooms or smoked eggplants. We don't use liquid smoke, which is like artificial flavor.
Right.
We smoke with real applewood chips, things like that. So, yeah, actually, that's funny. I think you started the interview with how I opened 416. I didn't even answer that. Just been talking about other things the whole time. But so that was my journey to being vegan. My journey to being in the restaurant industry was just.
No, you answered it. You were
working in it my whole life.
Yeah, you were basically saying you and Elle, y'all were like thinking about stuff, trying to figure out stuff, and then boom, that kind of came up around.
Well, we turned vegan, and then our whole lives we also worked in restaurants. Like first my dad's, and then just other restaurants and catering halls and bars and cafes and private chef, and just been in this industry for over 20 years. And being like workaholic Capricorns, just nonstop being at work at the restaurant all the time. And then our leisure when we're not working is mostly just hanging out at restaurants and bars. So essentially spending most of our life in a restaurant or a bar. Right. So at some point it was just kind of like when are you guys doing this already? Like we all know it's gonna happen. When is it gonna happen? Like when are you opening?
You guys need to make it happen again, man.
Well, we did for 7 years. It was wonderful. But we'll see what the future has in store for us, man.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 years at 416, and then a year and a half here with Veganized and Veganica in space, and now off to some new adventures. But I have a feeling it's gonna have to do a lot with vegan food and craft cocktails.
Right. Yeah. I will definitely be here. I wanna ask you one last question before we get done.
If a person was thinking about getting into the lifestyle, interested into the lifestyle, what would be a few tips that you could give them to get comfortable and to want to keep going?
Follow you, follow me, follow Veganized.
Definitely.
Follow all the brands we mentioned, and just your feed and or I guess what you consume is going to be a big part of it. So if you start watching movies about it, watching interviews about it, researching about it, going to vegan restaurants, following vegan restaurants, trying vegan products, maybe going to vegan events, meeting vegan people, whatever it is, you're going to be just more knowledgeable, more connected. You're going to find, obviously, listen, at the end of the day, people out here trying to make money, not all the vegan products are good. Some of them suck. Some of them are just people trying to make money. They see a trend. They see people capitalizing. They're like, all right, let me make some vegan cheese. And it's
terrible.
It's horrible. So, whatever. You got to know that that's out there. So, you can find a lot of free content today. Bloggers and just shit you could follow for free.
TikTok.
Well, they'll review the shit for you. They'll tell you what's better. They'll tell you what's worse. And then you just got to try it. Obviously, take the risk. Maybe you won't like it. Just don't freak out. Come back, try it again. I'm sure you've had non-vegan food that was bad before. You know what I mean?
And you always went back, and you probably spent double the next time.
Yeah, so just try it, man. Follow all these pages, try these restaurants, try the products, try some recipes, cook at home. You know what I mean? Just see how you feel. But to really try it, you gotta do this shit for real, right? So at least 3 weeks, if not a month, and not like, don't eat for those 3 weeks. No, eat the same way you would eat normally, just substitute it for vegan stuff.
Right.
3 weeks later or 4 weeks later, try going back. Try going back, see how you feel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And see how your body rejects certain stuff too.
Yeah, you'll find out for yourself,
Yeah. So I definitely want to say I appreciate you, man.
Bro, you already know. Man.
Always a pleasure. We're going to keep doing numbers. We're going to keep creating history, man. Follow Veganize. You can follow Ben as well.
Ben_RACHMANI.
Yes, sir.
On the IG.
Follow Student of the Game Network. You can follow me on the gram. Real_ Puff Daddy. And
just pop that shit on the screen.
Yeah, like pop up. And we out, man. And thank you for everybody that ever tuned in to anything that we did. You guys are part of our history. You guys made everything happen, So I definitely want to appreciate you guys as well.
By the people, for the people.
Yes, sir.
You already know.
Numbers. Don't panic. It's organic.
Let's go. Don't eat the homies.
We out.
Yeah. Deuces.